Hey guys, this is Arianne from Double A. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's actually the app that I'm using now. It's completely free. You don't even have to pay to download it on your phone or tablet. And you can also use the website anchor.fm. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. So Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. And you're wondering, what? Yeah, it's true. You can. So it can be heard from Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. You can also make money from it. Come on, we all love that little green in our life with no minimum listenership. That means you can have one listener or two listeners and you still get paid. Come on now. And it's everything you need to make for a podcast all in one. Completely. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Live. And hello, guys, this is Double A, and we're in for our Sunday Funday Chit Chat Free Talk session. How you guys doing?
Woohoo! Oh, before we start, you guys have to say congratulations to Amber. Today was her graduation ceremony. She graduated last year, technically,
yeah.
but because she got her degree, and she was supposed to walk down with everybody, but due to the fact that there was, COVID and everything like that, they were unable to, but they did an online ceremony. So her name was all posted up with all her pretty picture on there.
So, for the first half of that, for the people on Facebook, I did have her in my ear, so then I realized that y'all couldn't hear. She said to tell me congratulations because I had my commencement ceremony today. I graduated last year, but I had to do the commencement today thanks to your dear old friend COVID. And so this is what she saw. This is what everybody else saw that was there. And then the countless of other people sending me their thanks or congratulations or whatever. But yeah, if you are my friend on Facebook, you can see that, and she's uploaded stuff there too. But please, you don't have to congratulate me. It's only my third time graduating college.
She says that all nonchalantly.
It's only my third and last final time. I'm in retirement now.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
We only get about an hour to really chit chat on Anchor, but the good thing is if we do go over our hour, we can start recording a second part and put it together. So depending on how fun Ariane thinks this is, depends on how long it'll be. So I wanted to start this off by questioning Ariane. I like to pick her brain, but it also ties in to our podcast because at some point in the future, there's going to be some cases that intertwine with what we're going to talk about today. So, Miss Arian, how familiar are you with secret societies? And what is a secret society?
Secret society?
Yes.
Like, are you talking about like one of those like secret groups where you're like of high-end people?
Yes.
You're talking about those?
Yeah.
I think they exist. I honestly really do think they exist. The amount of high profile people that we have, whether they're celebrities, whether they're politicians, like, I mean, there's a lot of shady stuff going on in the world. So it would not surprise me if there was one.
Yeah. Let me move this because I want to make.
Because I mean, if you really think about it, the whole case with what's his name, Jeffrey Epstein, and you're talking about a whole bunch of high-profile people, and one was a prince that claimed, "Oh, I never met this girl, but there's a picture of you with your arms around this girl."
So, and he had a whole island. So
Oh,
it would not surprise me at all, honestly.
definitely. Y'all, excuse my husband back there on this 3,000-inch TV that he's playing his game on. So, a secret society, and y'all know this is my infamous notebook that I do for all my podcasting. I try to make it pretty because our podcast can get grim. So anyway, a secret society is a club or organization whose activities, events, interfunctioning, or memberships are concealed from non-members. The society may or may not attempt to conceal its existence. So, Arianne, I have a few secret societies that I've researched that I want to present to you to solidify they are real.
I mean, I can assume they already are. Like I said, it's not surprise. It would not surprise me at all if all of a sudden it's like all these people start coming out. Like, it's not surprising to me.
So I wanted to discuss some of the lesser known societies and like 2 or 3 of the more widely known, because there's some that have been under fire for a lot, mainly because of the type of clientele that they have. So I wanted to start with some that I know you yourself never heard and just kind of break it down to you so we can all really get an understanding of what these societies are and what they're about. So the first society is called the International Order of St. Hubertus. This was incorporated by Count Atten van Spork. This was established in 1965, and it was intended to gather the greatest noble hunters of the 17th century. This was in Bohemia, Austria. And when membership was denied to the Nazis, Hitler dissolved it. And then the American chapter opened up in the late 1960s.
Hunters, like wilderness hunters?
That I just assumed that, and I was just like, that's just a weird society. And Hitler was pissed because his men couldn't get in it. That's a weird society. Why would you want to be in that society?
Well, it just all depends on what their meaning of hunters is, though.
It could have been sex trafficking for back then.
You could be doing hunting for treasure, hunting for like expensive stuff, because we know that Hitler was very much into, was it art? I think it was art that he was into.
I did not study
and paintings.
I did not study him. I didn't care to study him, so I don't care what he liked. I don't know what he liked. But that's the first one that I wanted to bring to your attention, and I have several.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I was trying to like keep it kind of short because I have one more thing I want to get to you. So the next one, bear with me because this is a whole paragraph. The name is the Improved, Benevolent, and Protective Order of Elks of the World. What the fuck? Why the fuck? Who the fuck?
How do you gain entry into these? Because I kind of like now want to apply.
You can. You gotta know people. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So this was founded in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1899. And it was one of the most thriving secret societies among the African Americans. It was founded after 2 black men were denied entry into the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks of the World. So that's why they changed it to the Improved, because now this is for black men. So what they do is they sponsor educational scholarship programs, youth summer computer literacy camps, parades, and community service activities throughout the whole entire world, not just in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, well, that's good.
That is. It's really good. And I think they have some ties in with the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, so that's a good society.
Right.
Black people. Okay. So
I can't do that because I'm not black. Asian people.
Asian people. Okay. Okay, so the next one is the Grand Orange Lodge. Like, what the fuck?
The Grand Orange Lodge.
Yeah.
Like a cabin lodge.
Girl, your guess is as good as mine. This is more commonly known
I just went cockeyed, just like trying to like. think of that. I try to roll my eyes and my eyes went cockeyed.
Okay, so it's more commonly known as the Orange Order. I'd rather call it the Orange Order than the Grand Orange Lodge. It just sounds stupid. Guys, think better. If you're gonna make a society, please think of the legacy that it may or may not leave. Just think of that.
What we may think is cool now may not be cool then or later. So like then if we make one now and like, people in the future look into our society and they'll be like, what the hell were they thinking making up this name?
There's a lot of these things coming up that you and I are both gonna lock eyes on and roll them. So let's talk about the Orange Order. The name derived from Prince William III, the Prince of Orange. It was founded after the Battle of the Diamond, and its purpose was to protect Protestants. Yeah.
And it's still active to this day.
Most of these, unless I say it's been dissolved, they're active.
So then I wonder what the hell they're doing now.
I don't know, girl, but I don't. That's one order I choose not to apply to. Okay, so the next one is the Independent Order of the Odd Fellows.
I would join that one just because of the name. I would join that one just because of the name.
So the first written reference of this society dates back to 1812 and also refers to George the IV. That's 5, right?
Yeah, no.
4.
That's 4.
4. Y'all, I'm not a Roman numeral person, so I'm asking the math whiz. So anyway, George IV, Prince Regent of the United Kingdom. The British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and Stanley Baldwin were counted amongst the ranks. And it was grounded in the ideals of friendship, love, and truth. And they used real skeletons during the initiation to remind members of its morality.
I don't like the skeleton part, but I like the peace and love and whatever part in the name.
Yeah, the skeleton part, I'm like, hey, you're crossing the line there, buddy. Wait a minute.
Right.
Who's skeleton? Is this my granny? Is this Agatha? I know that.
I cannot.
And that's
like
how he went. They done took her. Okay. The next one is the Knights of Pythias.
I was about to say the Knights of the Round Table. Okay.
Ooh, that's familiar. What's that?
The Knights of the Round Table?
Yeah, I heard that. What's that?
It's the knights for like the king. I don't know, but it was in a lot of movies.
That show. Like the one that's Storybrooke. Like, not Wish Upon a Star. What else?
Robin Hood Men in Tights?
No. Storybrooke. The evil queen and the girl that was a private detective. Oh my God, it's right there. Her son was Henry.
I don't know what she's talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. There's something. A pawn is in there. Once Upon a Time. That's what it was called. Boom. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so
I should have known when you said Storybrooke, but it didn't click in my head. Okay, go on. Continue, please.
So the Knights of the Pythias was founded by Justice H. Rathbone in 1864. He felt that there was a moral need for an organization that practiced brotherly love. This one's the one that partnered with the Boy Scouts of America. So they used the color blue for friendship, yellow for charity, and red for benevolence. So that was them. Okay. The next one is the Ancient Order of the Foresters. And it was known as the Foresters Friendly Society. It was established in 1834, and it was created before health insurance began in England, so it offered sick benefits to the working class members. And
okay.
I was like, that's really nice. And in 1874, the Americans and Canadian branches left the Ancient Order, and they created their own order called the Independent Order of the Foresters. Members had to pass an examination by a competent physician that was bound by his connection with the order. Today, the society still provides insurance policies to the members and engage in a variety of community service activities.
But would these be considered secret societies if they're not really secret?
There are secret societies because although there's a lot of things that are not secret, the main inner workings of the society is secret. What they're actually doing in their meetings, behind closed doors, in their congregation places, that's secret. We don't know what they're saying or what they're actually doing. We don't know if they're really sacrificing people. We don't know if they got people kidnapped under there. We don't know how they're actually getting their money. We don't know if they're pimps and hoes. We don't know this.
We don't know if they're part of the Wayfair conspiracy.
We don't know. All we know is what we're allowed to know. This is the information we're privy to. So based on this, they're good. But we never know. So the next one is called the Ancient Order of the Workmen. Right there in front of you. Yeah. It was founded in Meanville, Pennsylvania by John Jordan Upchurch and 13 others in 1868. The goal was for bettering the conditions for the working class. It was set up to protect its members. The member list was capped at 2,000. It's no longer around, but the legacy is it was intended to create a new kind of something. I was writing fast and it was like scribble. I don't know, you fill in the blank on that word. And it encouraged fraternal groups to add insurance provisions to their constitutions. Since the United Workmen had a policy that should a member die, all the brothers that were in there should contribute $1 to go to that member's family. So if it kept 1,000 and everybody contributed $1, that family now has $2,000.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Not at all. I'm gonna make a group called the Yeasty Girls, and everybody's gonna give me $1.
I can't.
In order to get in, you got to give me $1, baby.
I cannot. I don't. Guys, this is like PG compared to all of our other.
Honestly, it's true. To know me is to love me, and to know I am cuckoo. Anyway, so the next one is the Patriotic Order Sons of America. It dates back to the
That was a nice burp.
that was the infamous Zach burp. So the Patriotic Order Sons of America dates back to the early days of the American Republic. Followed the foot of the Sons of the Liberty, the Order of the United Americans, and the Guards of Liberty. The Patriotic Sons of America added order to the name later. It became one of the most progressive, most popular, most influential, as well as the strongest patriotic organization in the United States in the early 20th century. In 1891, they refused to delete the word white out of its constitution, defeating a proposal that would allow black men to apply. Today, all native-born or naturalized American male citizens 16 or older that believe in the country and are very patriotic can apply to be a member. It's a no-go for me and my black children. No-go.
I mean, I can't either. I can't join either.
Because A, you're not white. A, you're not a male. Sorry. We're on the same line here. Most of these we can't even look at. We'll probably get slapped for looking at. So the next one is called the Molly Maguire.
They smoke weed?
I wish. It would make sense for these names. I'm sure they smoke weed. And probably do a little crack on the side too. Got to live it up. So this society killed, i.e. assassinated, 24 foremen and supervisors of the coal mines of Pennsylvania in the 1870s. It is of Irish origin. It was brought to the U.S. by Irish immigrants. And it most likely got its name because members used women's clothing as a disguise while allegedly carrying out illegal acts. The group came undone by a mole.
Oop,
20 members were sentenced to
your
death by hanging.
your voice went out for a good minute. So you're gonna
Y'all
have.
can hear me. My thing said it's disconnecting.
It says connected on my end, and I can still hear you.
Okay, I'm back here. What did you not hear?
You said it was of Irish descent.
And then my thing went out.
Yeah.
Okay, it was brought to the U.S. by Irish immigrants. Most likely got its name because members used women's clothing as a disguise while allegedly carrying out illegal acts. The group came undone by a mole planted by the famed Pinkerton Detective Agency that was hired by mining companies to investigate them. 20 members were sentenced to death by hanging. A secret society called the Order of the Sons of St. George that was founded in 1871 to oppose the Maguires also vanished. Dun dun dun.
Are they really vanished though?
It's a secret society, so it's probably not. It's probably what we think. Okay.
Either it came out on a new name or
Let's see.
something.
1, 2, 3, 4. We have about 5 more to go through.
5 more names?
5 more societies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this was like I gotta try to do it fast. So the next one is the Knights of Templar. It is a military order found around 1118. 1118 for y'all. Warriors dedicated to protecting Christian pilgrims. The headquarters are in Jerusalem. Members pledge a life of chastity, obedience, and poverty, abstaining from gambling, alcohol, and even swearing. I can't be a part of that group. I can't do it. This my whole life right there that they said I couldn't do. Can't do it. So they were mainly known for their military prowess and moral lifestyle. They became the most wealthy and powerful force in Europe after setting up a bank that allowed pilgrims to deposit money in their homeland and withdraw it in the Holy Land. How the fuck does that work? I have no clue. Influence became high in 1139 when Pope Innocent II issued a papal bull exempting them from paying taxes. The Pope was the only authority they felt that they had to answer to. Pope Clement V, that's V, right? V is 5. Okay. The fifth formally dissolved the order in 1312 and redistributed its wealth. And it did not come to me, so I'm sad.
Hell, it didn't come to me either.
Okay, so the next one and the next couple ones that I'm going to talk about is probably the ones that you're more familiar with. So the next one is the Freemasons. 13 out of 29, 13 out of 39 men that signed the U.S. Constitution were Freemasons. George Washington, James Monroe, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and Paul Revere were among those that are. It was founded in 1717, and the roots trace to the Middle Ages in Europe. It was founded when 4 London lodges merged to form England's first Grand Lodge. Freemasonry quickly spread across Europe into the American colonies. It's not a religion, though members are encouraged to believe in a supreme being or grand architect of the universe. Secret secret virtuals I cannot speak. Bought conflict. Y'all, I'm trying to get this out. My mouth is like, no. Secret rituals brought conflict with the Catholic Church and were first condemned in 1738, and around 20 decrees were issued against them. Their symbols are the square and the compass and the eye of providence, which is the all-seeing eye. And then the next one is the Illuminati. I didn't do much on this because a lot about the Illuminati is hearsay and is bullshit. So I can't give you facts on bullshit. But it was founded by Professor Adam Weishaupt. It's Weishaupt. Don't know how to say that, but there you go. And it was founded in Bavia on May 1st, 1776. And it was stamped out by Carl Theodore of Bavia, who issued an edict making member punishable. An edict, that's EDICT, making member punishable by death in 1787.
Okay, so that's more famous on the celebrity side.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of, well, I don't know, but there's a lot of people that say that there's celebrities that are part of it, mainly Beyonce and Jay-Z.
There's a lot of conspiracy or like tacked to it. A lot of presidents are said to be a part of the Illuminati and a part of the Freemasons too. There's a lot of these societies are tied to presidential people and people that are in the millions and $billion making. Not
Of course.
But yeah. So the next one is the Skull and Bones. It was founded at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut in 1832 by William Huntington Russell. It was inspired by an occult society in Germany. The co-founder was Alfonso Taft. Each year, 15 seniors at Yale are tapped to join and then their names are published in the school newspaper. Members take an oath of secrecy. Famed members include Presidents William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. And people will claim Obama is. There's a lot of conspiracies about the Skull and Bones and the Illuminati, and a lot of them are entangled, but you have to kind of read through the lines of the bullshit there to pick out the truth. Look for the things that are constant. So the last society that we're going to talk about is called the Bilderberg. The first meeting for the Bilderberg was held in 1954 at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, thus the name Bilderberg. A gathering of powerful politicians from North America and Europe designed to foster warmer relations between the two continents. It is not strictly a secret society, and the high-profile attendees that are known are Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, Tony Blair, and Henry Kissinger. So that's all societies and all the tidbits I can give you. So now, knowing what you know now, what do you think?
I mean, my thoughts are still the same. There's always going to be one. There's ones that we definitely don't know anything about, and it's normally passed on generation to generation.
Like family.
Because if you notice, if you are from a politician family, like a lot of times their kids grow up to be politicians, and it just continues on and continues on. So it's very easy when you have that power and you have that wealth, like you're looked on.
So,
or you're looked at, sorry.
How did that wealth? Like, how did that wealth become? Because nobody was just born into wealth. You had to get wealth from somewhere just so your children can have the wealth and then pass it on. So where did the initial wealth come from when initially we were a poor continent?
Well, in the U.S.?
Yeah, where did this wealth come from?
You were wealthy if you came from the royal family.
And all that.
If you were passed down, and then you're talking about, people from England that wanted to be part of the first establishments of America. So because apparently it's
England from the Europes. Europe funded this country, basically.
And then you're like, not just Britain, you're talking about all of them coming in. And then all these immigrants, okay? The immigrants that come in, make a living for themselves, succeed in their business, succeed in what they're good at in their trade here in America. So they succeed, pass it down to their kids, and then their kids, and then their kids. So it just continues on until someone breaks that cycle.
This is what I'm thinking. Because obviously these societies make money and we lack money. I feel like we should start one called the stay-at-home wives that strip for their husbands. The order of the wives stripping. Or the order of the stay-at-home mothers. Or brown chicks win.
Oh my gosh. You know what? There is actually a society starting in Nashville. It is a group of Black women, small business owned, privately owned. And like they got together and decided, they're gonna start this group, and it's starting to get big. Like they're starting to catch media attention. Like I see it on Facebook, and
this is what I don't understand. Like that, they're forming this society out of nothing because they see an urge to get not only their name out there, but to get the proper recognition for Black-owned businesses, and not just Black-owned businesses, but Black female-owned businesses. Now, yeah, some people have to get like loans to get their business going. Some people are like gifted enough to fund it themselves, but not everybody that's going into these business ventures has that extra money. But once they get the society going, everybody's all of a sudden rich. Where is all these other people that didn't have the money before? Where are they getting their money from? Is the other members just like, we're gonna give you money, everybody's gonna have the same amount of
well, it just all depends, because I mean, like, a lot of them work for years and years and years at odd end jobs to fund their business, and then once their business starts kicking in, then they're met up with other women who have went through the same process, and then they get together and it's like, okay, well, you need help, cool, I got you too. But by this time, like, they get the media attention right when everything is done and put in place for them. But it takes years and years to get there. It takes them doing odd end jobs, 3 jobs at a time before college and through college to get to where they're at now.
I'm going to propose this idea to you. We started a society called Thick, and we're going to recruit all these girls, and the entry fee is going to be $10. And it's all going to go to me. I'll give you $1 or $2 after.
Oh my God. You guys, y'all are hearing this, right? Don't do it.
But y'all are gonna fund me because I need the money. Okay, so anybody want to join Thickums, hit me up in the DM.
Oh my God. Y'all can also support our podcast.
We really do. Seriously, all jokes aside, please help us out and support our podcast on anchor.fm by contributing 99 cents, $5, $10, or whatever you can. But to help us keep going, this stuff is not easy to keep researching and to keep doing all this stuff. And we're finally doing it on our own, but any bit of help is much appreciated. Please. Arianne can do all those links. Because y'all just seen me try to do YouTube and
I seen.
And then,
but yeah, that's probably why the people that I watch on YouTube Live have like multiple devices that they're live on. So it's like they're live on YouTube on one end, and then they're live on Facebook on like a tablet or a phone, and then they're live on Instagram on another thing. So they have 3 devices up facing them, and they're like reading all the comments. And I'm like, that's too much work for me. I'm too lazy.
I was gonna get my iPad, which is right here, and I was gonna do our.
Your voice went out again. There you go.
You said what?
Your voice went out again. But I still have you on here. It's got to be something with your internet or something, because my end, you're still connected.
I can't hear you. You gotta unmute because it's reconnecting.
Oh,
It's reconnecting.
that's the thing. I can hear you.
I mean, this. I couldn't.
Now you're connected.
Yay! I'm connected. I'm back. Okay. So I don't know what's going on, but I took off my Wi-Fi from my phone. But I'm glad y'all can still hear me. But yeah, Instagram is better on my phone, so I may start recording from my iPad for the podcast, and then have Facebook up on here, and then like YouTube on the other side, and then Instagram on my phone.
Much work for me. As if y'all can't, well, y'all can definitely not see because I'm not fixing to turn my camera. I got my feet propped up on some pillows because my ankle is still swollen from this past weekend that I thought it was like gone down. So I got a little too cocky and was like, okay, it's going down. I can walk on it without any wrapping or anything like that. So that was a bad idea. So I got it propped up at the moment. Hence why I'm like lounging out
Just
because I got my foot propped.
so for the people that did not listen to Thursday's podcast, Arianne, tell
Hmm.
me.
Okay, so Thursday's podcast, Amber did a cold case on Mr. Herman Larson,
Her
and
Wilhelm Larson.
he passed away on Valentine's Day, 1937.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I still remember the date. Okay, so he had passed away in 1937. They don't know who did it. Supposedly it was a robbery. He got shot. Boom, bam, dead. Okay. Anyways, so we found Amber later told me that he had a second wife.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to back it up and explain.
Because his wife passed away, his first wife passed away in 1934. And then I remember the story. I don't need side notes. Thank you very much. Oh, okay.
His family.
So all of his family except his father passed away before he did. So his first wife, which is the main person that we need to talk about, passed away in 1934. Okay. Now, while she was telling the story, she said that he called his wife.
So the first wife's name is Etta Mae Case Larson.
Yeah, so she supposedly passed away. Well, she passed away in 1934. Not supposedly, she did. But anyway, so she was like, she said, well, Amber, when she was telling the story, said, well, he called his wife. And I'm like, hold on a minute. His wife passed away in 1934. Did he call those? Unless he had a mistress. Turns out he did have a mistress, but he also had a wife. He remarried the year before. So, anyway, back to what I had found out. Okay, so supposedly there were a couple that had seen two men in Mr. Larson's house, which was 50 feet from his gas station where he was technically shot at. There was no like evidence of anybody there except for one shotgun casing that he fired, but he supposedly fired like 3 shots, but they could only find 1 shell. Anyways, so I could not find the street that this couple was driving on, because it said it was in South Beloit Street.
Beloit?
So here's the thing. There is such a place, but it's a whole different town in Illinois. It's not a street.
And this Winnebago County, Illinois.
So here's the thing. Winnebago, Illinois, even in, what is it, Rockford is part of Winnebago County, if I remember correctly. Anyways,
Rockton.
So the streets are very spaced out, like very spaced out.
It's a very, very small, like, country.
Super small. So back in 1930, there was roughly about 587 residents,
which is like as big as a country town high school. That's how many were like in our high school in Shelbyville, Tennessee. It was about 500 to 600 students. So it's very small. Very small. This city was very small.
So it was kind of like odd. So we don't know if it's actually true, but I mean, more aiming for the mistress.
And you think about it, if he was shot in the stomach and he supposedly shot the robber twice, why wasn't that enough to get the small ass city attention?
I think, and since it was back in the 1930s, their houses weren't as close.
But he was literally 50 feet from his store, and there were witnesses outside that saw people, but they did not hear the shots. So that's what we were hung up on. God, have to
I
go back.
kind of wish I had that ability that could go back and like see all this in
It
person
would be dope.
and be like,
This case is
bam,
so
I
good.
I solved this case.
Yeah, this case is so good. Is I just like I want it more. Like it's gotta be somebody's gotta make a show out of it, a movie. Somebody's gotta do something because that case is so good. It's my medicine time, y'all.
I don't think they could really, I don't think they could really make a show out of it because there would be no ending. I mean, there would be an ending, but it would be a short ending, and then it would be like an unknown.
Yeah, there can't be a to be continued, but they could do like a show based on it. Like you know how Roswell, New Mexico is based on the UFO crash landing. It could be a show based on that, and then the conspiracy theories could have different episodes. Like it's such a good case, though. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah. Now I want to ask our listeners, I should say. I'm messing with my keyboard cover. If y'all are like seeing me look down, it's because I'm messing with my keyboard cover. Anyway, I want to know what y'all think about the whole Wayfair conspiracy.
oh my god, yes.
Because here's the thing, okay? The CEO stepped down. The CEO of Wayfair stepped down.
And it wasn't too long after all that.
It really wasn't. So, as you like, I was talking about this to my sister because she was fixing to order something from Wayfair, and I was like, "Did you hear about the conspiracy?" And
We
I told
ordered
her.
stuff from Wayfair.
So it's like, okay, so if you guys have not known, like my sister who watches the news daily, still didn't know about the conspiracy. So if you guys don't know about the Wayfair conspiracy, they are claiming that they are using their these cabinets, this industrial almost looking size cabinet to human traffic kids. And how they came up with that was these cabinets that look exactly the same are named differently. And supposedly, I say supposedly because there's no given proven fact, and I don't want to give y'all like fake information and just like have it blow up. So supposedly, these these names that they've seen were of kids that are already missing, and then the prices of them are like 14 to 17,000
20,000.
apiece.
Yeah.
And you're talking about these cabinets, they were tall, like double sided door cabinets
There shouldn't have been more than like 1,000.
that are steel, if I remember correctly. They look steel. Once they, you could find it a garage, essentially. The ones with the handles you turn and open, and it's a double door. So they were saying, or some people were saying, I should say, that if it was the same product, it would be the same price, right?
Right.
But it's not. They're all different prices. And then they were all of different names.
Eat 'em up.
No, I don't want to take medicines. Thank you very much. So that's the whole issue that they were saying. Because now it was like they're doing human trafficking, and then the news are coming out saying, oh, it's total bullcrap. All these people that we don't really know all of a sudden have these high credentials coming out saying, no, this is untrue, but yet the CEO stepped down. And honestly, if it was my business and I know for a fact it's not true, I would be fighting it tooth and nail and then going around and suing the person who started it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be fighting for my company because that's my company on the line. So why is the CEO stepping down?
Yeah, I was just like, that's awful quick.
It really was. It wasn't, I think it was within a week of the conspiracy came out. He was like, nope, I'm done.
I know it was like, I heard about it one day and the next day he stepped down and I was like, well, dang.
Yeah, it was all over social media. Like, if it's not true, then why did the CEO step down? And that's kind of true.
Yeah.
But again, we're not there. We don't know these people that are posting these conspiracy theories. We don't know the people that are supposedly proving them wrong.
Right.
Like, we don't know all this information. But if you guys have any information or you guys want to tell us what you think, definitely let us know, because I'm keeping up with it.
Honey, yes. So I want to talk about something else with Arianne. Our podcast is going to be close to an end. Once it gets to that point, she can notify me and we'll end it on that end and restart another one to finish the talk, because this Sunday we have a lot of good juicy stuff to talk about. So the next thing I wanted to talk to Arianne about, which this one, the reason why this one needs to be shifted towards Arianne is because Arianne handles the solved cases that consist of solved kidnappings, solved murders, serial killers, anything that we know definitive. And I don't. I deal with the unknown. So this one goes to Arianne because this is the common key traits found in serial killers. So what do you know about serial killers and what they all have in common?
Normally, they're high IQ, very artistic, very articulate. They can manipulate very easily. They can get out of situations very easily. They don't have to be the most good looking people, but the more you see, they can talk their way out of stuff. So they can manipulate very easily. A lot of them come from very broken homes, either to it's just to satisfy what they missed when they were kids. So if their mom slept around with so many guys and didn't tend to that child tends to normally grow, if they do grow up to be serial killers, they tend to go towards who to women that either resembled their mother or resembled someone that they have a whole bunch of hatred towards.
Yeah. And not all people that gone through stuff like that turn out to be serial killers. Some of them become police officers or in the FBI, or
it all depends on how you choose your path. Like, do you want to stop that and help other kids who have that same situation that you were born with? If you do, you end up educating yourself and turning your bad situation into a good learning point.
Yeah.
Or you can go a whole different direction and just I honestly want to say that they try to get attention for themselves, like it's their only way to get attention.
I agree. Did you know that most serial killers have experienced bedwetting for a long time?
Normally, because a lot of them get abused when they were kids.
Did you know that most serial killers kill animals first as kids?
Yeah, normally I hear those stories.
All right, so I'm gonna break down what she may or may not know. She mentioned some of the things, but you guys may or may not know this. So I'm gonna go over 12 key traits, and no, that there are many more. These are just the most common. So, one, they focus entirely on themselves and the power they are able to assert over others, much like what Arianne was saying. They have severe lack of empathy. Think about Jeffrey Dahmer. Think about all these other high-profile serial killers that you've heard of. And most of the time, when they're recanting, they recant with no emotion. It's just very matter of fact. It is what it is, and barely a blink to it. It's not, there's no. It's a lack of emotion because these people never really experienced much emotion, so they don't give much emotion. And just like Arianne was saying, they're smooth talking, but they're insincere with that. Again, it goes back to the fact that they don't really have those feelings that we're connected to. The most feelings that I assume, I'm not a killer, but I just assume the most feeling that they would get is that adrenaline rush or that sexual rush.
It's just to manipulate so they can act their way to show an emotion that we think is very real, but it's just to give them an upper hand and to give them that power.
Also, they're egocentric and grandiose. I don't know what grandiose is, and I didn't care to look it up. It's like, y'all can look it up. Grandiose.
It's like they put themselves on a high pedestal.
Yeah. They lack remorse or guilt. They feel what they've done is justified. And again, some people kill for God. Some people kill for Satan. Some people kill to get their rocks off. That's just what it is. Also, like she said, they're deceitful and manipulative, and that is so very true. Almost every single killer that we have researched or talked about is very manipulative. Very. And shallow emotions, that reminds me of the lady that she just talked about on Tuesday. That girl, very shallow. And impulsive. And she was impulsive too.
I don't think she was super impulsive. I think she really wanted to.
She killed him and then cut his penis off.
Yeah. I think she really thought about it.
But a lot of killers are impulsive because, like, there was that one, the very first killer that she spoke of that Arianne first gave on our very first podcast. Like, he started off, he would pick up the girl, they would be sitting in the car, he'd just be sitting there, and all of a sudden, just kill her. That's impulsive.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are like that. And also, the next one is poor behavior controls. That goes back to that. That is poor control. You didn't control your impulse. You decided to go and just kill her.
I think that's all of the ones that I talked about.
Yeah.
That both Japanese people, the one, my very first podcast and this past Tuesday, they were both Japanese. Then we're talking about the Marine that killed the Filipino. We talked about Samuel Little. All of them.
Very impulsive. And very poor behavior control. And the next one is the need for excitement. And that's what I was thinking about your Marine guy. I was thinking, like, I had a feeling, because when you look at more pictures of the Filipino woman, she clearly had some masculinity to her. So even though she was very beautiful, you can look at her jawbones, you can look at her structures and tell that she wasn't 100% feminine. You can see that. And I feel like he knew that. And I feel like that he was upset that the head was so good. It felt so good that he didn't expect it to feel so good coming from a transgender person. But I feel like he was excited too that it felt good. And I think it scared him that it was excited. And that led to the impulse of killing her. And if you guys didn't see the pictures that we posted on the Instagram, definitely go to our YouTube. In the YouTube, I posted of her body when she was found dead and how it looked with her head emerged into the toilet and onto the ground and how her neck looked. Even in that position, even being dead with her beautiful hair, she still had masculinity to her.
Even without doing an autopsy, just looking at it, just alone, if you read his statement, you can tell right off the bat it was not true. And if you guys want to know, it's the case of Jennifer Lade. She is a Filipino woman that passed away, got murdered by a U.S. Marine in the Philippines. But just looking at her picture, you can tell right away. Like when I looked at her picture and they were saying what he said happened, like there's no way that
No,
you were trying to protect yourself.
at all. Like, I really honestly think that he was just embarrassed that she gave him some A1 head. That's it. I
He
mean,
probably didn't want to explore that side of him. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of men that realize that they're either bi or turn fully out gay that don't kill. Like, yeah, they have those emotions that's like, what the hell? Like everything's been, turned upside down in their world. And then you're talking about a Marine, in the Marine Corps, you're learned to be very masculine. You've learned,
and then,
all these traits and it's instilled in you. And so like that probably scared him. And he was 19. So he was still very
very
young.
young. What goes hand in hand with what she's saying is the next one is the lack of responsibility. And I say that it goes hand with what she's saying is because the contrary to what he said in his statement, it contradicted the crime scene. He did not take full responsibility, even though at some point he did plead guilty. He also tried to counteract that and try to get off. He tried to get a lighter sentence. He tried to change it as if it didn't happen. But
He tried to manipulate the system. But that's the thing. He did it the wrong way because he thought that he could manipulate like how he would manipulate the U.S. system. Because the U.S. system tends to favor, a white male. If this were to happen in the U.S., if Jennifer Lade stepped foot in the U.S. and this situation happened in the U.S., he would not be put in jail. And I'm sorry to say that because then the jail would be like, or the jury would be like, well, he's a young white male. He didn't tell her that he was transgender. I can see why he
would have got probation or he would have been like that Broderick dude, 3 months in jail. Either way it goes, the system would be catered to making sure that he lived a great life, and Jennifer Lade's name would be dragged through the mud, and they would be talking about her being an immigrant from there to here. They would just be talking mess about her, and nothing. And I'm so glad it happened in the Philippines because then he got to show his white privilege did not mean shit. He took a life, and he deserved to be in jail for life. Now we're gonna end this podcast session on this side, and then we're gonna restart the podcast again so we can finish because I have a few more bullet points to talk about.
Okay, we will see you guys in part 2.
Yeah. So Facebook while Arianne. All right. So now we're gonna finish. I have a few more bullet points to go with what she was saying. Oh, the early behavior point. The whole early behavior problems was basically what I was mentioning before about bedwetting, killing animals. Some of them probably even steal things like I can't remember what the person's name was, but they used to steal their mother's lingerie, sleep with their mother's lingerie. Very was it the one that Norman Bates? Somebody was infatuated with their mother like that and would wear her clothes, put her makeup on. So you think about that. Not every kid that wants to dress up like a girl is transgender. So although it's okay to let your children explore their personalities, be mindful of be very observant of what you're seeing. Because some boys do like to dress up like little princesses and play with Barbie dolls and do things like that. But some boys are just born to kill. So you have to pay attention up, but not everything is so serious, but not everything is so light. And then the last one is adult antisocial behavior. I think your very first podcast had that all over it.
Yeah, he wasn't social at all. He was bullied
Mhm.
both by his family and his peers.
Yeah, he had no one.
Mm-mm.
What about Little? Did Samuel have a lot?
Samuel Little, if I remember correctly, no, because he started his life of crime at the age of 14. So he was in and out of jail from the age of 14.
And then the one that you did was it Saudi Abe Abba whatever.
Sada Abe.
She was
She
sent
she
off,
was she was quite popular through the males.
but I'm saying like she was sent off at the age of 15 to become a high profile prostitute.
Basically, she was sent off. She was sold off to a geisha house.
So at the age of 15, she became a geisha. She began performing sexual acts from, and she didn't, at that point, she didn't get to keep the money. She had to pay the lady of the house the money. So she didn't have any money. She didn't have her family. She didn't have any friends. All she did was have sex.
She
So,
tended to the main geisha girl as an apprentice. So
yeah.
here you are basically a slave to her.
Yeah.
On turn, you have to do all these classes, but she wasn't into these classes and she didn't perform very well. So therefore, she became what is called a low ranking geisha, which a lot of them just are basically prostitutes because high end geishas are there to entertain with music, with art, to
Like,
provide just someone to
like private
go.
dancing or like
No,
recording.
it's literally like traditional Chinese or traditional Japanese dancing and instrument playing. So it's very like what we would love to see to this day. Like if you the more you read on geishas, the more you find it so interesting because they're giving you high-end geishas. So it's like they're providing you the traditional side of Japan.
Mm.
So you're getting to experience all these cultures.
Guys, you really need to go back and listen to our podcast. Even if they might be kind of cringy to hear because we're learning, they're still very good information. It's very interesting, but we're getting better at it. And I'm thinking like as we get into how podcasts go, our content, the cases that we give you are very juicy. I feel like this past week was a really good week for podcasting.
Yeah, because I mean, God, the woman that killed, and then you're talking about this cold case that could be like an endless possibility.
Yeah, y'all, these last two podcasts were really, really good. So we gotta keep hitting it up. We can only get better from here because I don't think we can top last week if we go back to the way we started. But last week
Man,
was good. Y'all should definitely join in. Um, Give us some more suggestions. Like most of the suggestions we get, I've gotten from my husband. I've gotten from my mother. My cousin wants me to do some, but she wants me to speak on Kendra Johnson, and that's a little hard for me to talk about because there's too many conspiracies, and y'all
so
know
it's a very
it's
popular.
so popular. There's too many, and I would like to do that for her, but the thing is, it's too popular to talk about right now because right now all I'm gonna get is lies. So I'm not gonna talk about something that is over medialized. So
Right.
I'm looking for things that we don't really know or we've heard of but we didn't really know about. That way I can really get facts. Because I don't want to give you conspiracy theories. This is not what the podcast is about. We're not conspiracy theorists. So I'm not going to give you that. So we're just going to keep looking for some good stuff. And I think next week, I know Arianne wants me to give y'all some highlights. I don't do that. Y'all should know that.
I don't even know what I'm doing next week. I have a whole list of people that I'm just like,
Yeah,
eeny, meeny, miny, mo. One of them.
I have so like there's I know the direction I want to go in um out of the people that I haven't lined up. So just tune in. You have to just join. You have to if you can't get on Anchor, Anchor distributes to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can literally tell your Google Play your Google Dot or your Alexa Dot, whatever the little dot things y'all got. Like I'll say, Alexa, play Double A Crime Files, and she'll literally play the latest podcast. Or you can go into your Apple Podcast and you can go to all of them. But you can just play that. And you can go to sleep listening to it. I even put it on YouTube, and I worked really hard converting audio into video using slideshows just for people that only on YouTube. So please go there. You have plenty of different avenues to listen to our podcast, and you won't be disappointed. And we're gonna keep giving you some bangers. And this is something that we both really enjoy, and we do appreciate your what's the word I'm thinking of at 11:25 support.
Yeah, because I mean we've actually gotten quite a bit of listeners, if like, because we're able to track our listeners. There's quite a bit, and
Mainly from Italy.
yeah, like I'm telling you guys, like all the cases that we try to do, especially my cases, they are international, because we are not like, I don't want you guys to just think within the box within the US. There's serial killers everywhere. It could be from what you think is the nicest country in the whole world.
Yeah, I want to find something in Canada.
You know, shoot, I'm still trying to find something in Switzerland, you guys. Like I'm legit like digging deep.
I think when I covered the case of Amy Lynn Bradley, she's of U.S. descent, but she was overseas when it happened. So we don't want to just say all in the U.S. We want you to know about everything all over the world, because believe it or not, the people that are across the country are very, very smart in their killings and their disappearance.
I mean, and you guys have to, it makes you want to look up how the culture is in that country, because like if you listen to it, like especially my Japanese ones, you know, like a lot of them are just like, well, how can you treat a child like that?
Yeah.
You know, well, it's because we've been living in the US. We have a different stigma than how we are in Asia. Since I know both sides, I can get both sides.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I want you guys to learn about different cultures. And honestly, even if it starts off like you trying to look up what a geisha is, then it makes you like start realizing all these things to become a geisha. Then you start researching more, and just more and more and more and more. And then next thing you know a lot of the Japanese culture just because you wanted to look up what a geisha was.
Right. And it doesn't hurt to expand your mind. Knowledge is never too late to obtain. And knowledge is a very powerful thing, and it's very key. Not all knowledge is great knowledge, because some knowledge could get you messed up, but knowledge, nonetheless, is a very, very good thing to have. You don't want to walk around in an unknown. So study these cultures that we speak of. Study these cases that we speak of. Get your own understanding, and don't be afraid to enhance your mind. You know, we can
Yeah,
all take.
we're open-minded, you know, so just don't stick to one stigma. You know,
Yeah.
like think for yourself. And that's the thing, like we want everyone to know, and that's the another reason why we don't go to the major storylines, the major headlines, because we want everybody to think for themselves and have their own opinion, and not persuaded by thousands and thousands of opinions on Reddit, on Google, on Facebook, on Twitter.
And to back what she's saying, like when we do podcasts, like my mom is my number one fan next to my husband. She listens to my podcast all the time, and she'll text me. She's like, "You're talking, and I'm answering you, and it's a freaking podcast." That's how we want it, though, because it is a discussion that she and I typically have in this platform that you're looking at here, Duo. This is how we talk. Everything that we're saying is not scripted. It's not made up. This is how we talk. We're adding a camera and a microphone. Other than that, well, the camera's always been there because we're on camera talking to each other, but we're adding you in and we're adding a microphone and you get to listen to how we actually talk. We don't script anything. I know a lot of these things are scripted, but we don't do that because
The only scripted things are of the facts.
the facts. That's it.
That's
and
it.
It's just we write down the facts and we talk about it, but we have an educated discussion on what we think could have happened or why we think could have happened. And your girl cusses all the time, so I'm gonna cuss in almost every other sentence. This is real. This is just who we are and what we do. So we appreciate your support and being us genuinely being who we are, opening our discussion to the world to listen to. And we thank our overseas fans because they bring up the bulk of our support. We really thank that. But this is genuinely how we as sisters, as best friends, communicate. We discuss. We both have intelligent brains, and we utilize that to come up with some kind of hypothesis, and then we go to sleep.
I mean, we literally fall asleep to like crime shows.
Yeah.
And it's like I watch Forensic Files religiously. And I mean, you've got to realize the times, like how forensics are now wasn't how it was back then. So it's like we go, within those time frames, we can jump from 2 years ago to like 30, 50 years ago, and then show you guys how the forensics are totally different.
Yeah.
And even to this day, even now, the more technology that we have, we're still unable to solve a lot of cases.
Yeah. If we could, I want that case that we talked about Thursday to be up there because I need to know. Was it the Walmers?
I honestly think it is, because I mean, it would not surprise me if the husband and the brother-in-law did it.
Yeah, and think about how small it is. I really think they paid it off.
I mean,
that was a good case. That was such a good case.
it really was. Y'all need to go listen to it, because this girl done played me on that case. Because I thought I heard all the news, and then I'm over here doing all my theories on it, and she wasn't even halfway done.
No,
at all.
Let's tell you about what else I got. And then she's like, what?
Because I was still stuck on the fact that his wife died in 1934, and then he called his wife as he was bleeding out in his store. And I'm like, how did he call his wife? Is it a ghost? And then she was like, well, the nurses said that he was surrounded by family at the hospital. How? The only family he had living was his dad. How? Who was his family?
Guys, please listen to that case. Like, it was so good, and then do your own research. But there were so many unknowns. Like, the only thing I could get as far as a picture was his tombstone. So
yeah, even I looked at every avenue I could.
There's nothing.
You guys, I even went into ancestry.com and signed up.
And on Ancestry, you cannot find his second wife on there.
No. There's no listing.
Nothing.
Looked at every name that she could possibly have. There's nothing.
It's nothing there. The only mention of her is in the police report. So, guys, please go back and listen to the case of Herman Edward Wilhelm Larson and research it. It is such a good case. It is such a good case.
It annoyed the heck out of me.
It will piss you off because you're like, wait, who did it?
Like, I honestly think that I got more upset at the police, because I'm like, okay, so even I knew back in 1930s in Illinois, for goodness sake, there's not that many people, especially in a small town. So why not interview everybody? And then on top of that, though, the mistress said, oh, well, I have an alibi. I was with family members, as in plural, and the only one they asked was the brother-in-law, which so happened that the couple that was driving by Mr. Larson's house seen two males in his house, which could be the husband and the brother-in-law, because the mistress sounds very manipulative to like convince her husband to kill him.
don't forget what the dude that took over his estate found, and we don't even know who that dude is and why he took over the estate. But he was looking for oil cans, and what did he find, Francie?
I forgot. Oh yeah.
Letters from the mistress, and the letters were revenge letters. They were threatening letters. So it all points to, guys. We're gonna quit telling you about the thing. Just go listen to it.
I got pissed, and I will tell you guys this right now. Y'all will get pissed too.
Man, y'all, I twisted Arianne up. I told y'all I like to pick on her. I twisted her up, but she was good though. She was good, but I twisted her up. It was a good podcast, y'all. Just go back and listen to it. Give it a like, share it, get onto the YouTube. Guys, get our YouTube popping. I think we're our only subscribers on YouTube. We need more than us. Help us out. Our Italy people are literally showing us the most love right now. Where y'all at, friends?
I didn't even know that they could look up. Like, I don't know how they're looking us up, honestly.
Are on their iPhones in Italy. When I look at my analytics on Anchor, I have most people coming from the iPhone and most people coming from Italy. A lot of people coming from Anchor itself. Some people are coming from Spotify and Google Podcasts, but mainly iPhone in Italy.
Well, whoever you are, Italy person, thank you so much.
We love you.
Let me learn some Italian. Please teach me. We'll give out our contact info.
We have our email listed on everything. You could just go on and email us at double.a.crimefiles@gmail.com.
Guys, I'm not the one who made this email, okay? She done put too much dots. And
I have just made me.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know the algorithm. I had to do it. But anyway, it's not hard. double.a.crimefiles@gmail.com.
Oh my goodness. Well, you
Email
guys
us
heard it from her. Just email us.
email us photos, email us cases, email us if you want to be a co-host.
Oh, here's the I wanted to tell you guys. Amber found this app. She was telling me about it the other day, and it sounds interesting, but we're not going to do it alone, and we're not going to do it like at night. So there's this app that like basically tells you have to share your location, and then it tells you where to go, basically, and you find something, and then somebody found a body.
a dead body. Yeah. So okay, I'm supposed to go down there with Arian and my children at some time in September, and I put on our YouTube that we would do vlog like things sometimes, but we're rarely together. So in order for us to do vlogs, I would have to get snippets from her and then fuse it with snippets from me and then put it up. But I was thinking when we go, well, me, her, and the kids will go and we'll get like sticks and bats and stuff, and we'll go on these little hunts and we'll.
Okay, look, she's not. I told her we cannot do this, just me and her. And I will tell you guys why. If you guys don't know us personally, okay, one, I'm literally broken. She's over there broken too. And what I mean by broken is we cannot run, okay?
I got that. That's it.
No.
My hip hurt, but if I was
so if you guys are watching us, my right arm has got a little thing on my elbow, okay? Because it hurts really bad. This girl says, okay, well, you can hold the gun in your right hand and then pull the trigger with your left. Now, I will show you guys, the people that can watch on live. This is me closing my left fist. As you can tell, these two fingers don't go all the way down, which would be the trigger finger. This arm, my right arm, does not extend to its full because my elbow is messed up. So this is what I told her over the phone. She said, well, you can hold it with your right hand and then pull the trigger with your left. I said, how? I can't fully extend on my right arm. And then I have no willpower on my left trigger finger at all. So that's just not going to happen. And then I got a swollen ankle.
So I was like, you run. And what did I say I was going to do to them? I
I
was
don't know.
going
I
to
said
go.
I was gonna sit on them.
I said, I'm going to do some niggerati. I'm going to do some flips and kicks and punches, and then we're going to run. I'm going to a rock and hit my head and pass out, but I'm going to get my licks in.
Oh my god.
But it's okay. This is all I really had to talk about, and I think that today's chit chat was pretty good. I like to pick on Arian, but she was pretty good. She knows her stuff. I guess you're not as slow as I think you are for
I
you to get.
like. This is a really bad phrase to say it, but I was fixing to say I like crime file. I like reading and researching crimes, and that sounds really bad.
You just like to educate yourself.
I do. I do. It actually helps me out because then, like, I'm more aware of my surroundings.
Yes, and we mentioned in our, I want to say the one
Last Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before.
Bethany Mikrovsky or something like that. Guys, I'm going to keep on reiterating this because I'm going to do a lot of missing person cases in the future because there's a lot of missing persons. But get yourself a safety kit as well as your children or your loved ones. Everybody needs to have a taser, pepper spray. Everybody needs to have one of those little pocket knives. I have one that's a key. So I have it on my keychain and I can flip it up and it's a knife and I can gut you with it. Everybody needs, and I don't think I have it beside me, but
Definitely,
everybody
and
needs it.
teach your kids how to kick and scream and run for help. And it doesn't matter how many times a person threatens them, that they will always want to be found. So,
And had a thing that her mom did with her that I think everybody should do.
which is a secret code. Like
Yeah.
the secret code, it could be a series of numbers that's very easy. Mine was a series of numbers that correlated with a phrase. So, which I could probably tell you guys now because I mean, I'm I'm almost 30. So our secret code was 143, which is I love you.
Yeah.
And so if nobody said that phrase, even my aunts and uncles, if nobody said that phrase and somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, you have to go with me. Your mom or your dad is in the hospital. You need to ride with me and go." Because a lot of my family members, actually, there was quite a bit of people that checked me out of school. Because my mom was either unable to pick me up. I had after school stuff to do and things like that. So my mom made it to where if somebody said that phrase and I knew that I was not supposed to go with anybody that day, then she knew it was a lie. Because my dad, the only people that knew that phrase was my dad, my mom, me, and my sister. So get you guys a secret code, a secret phrase, something that the kids are that's easy for the kids to remember, but also that they know that's only between you guys. And so that way they don't put themselves in danger. Teach them safety. Teach them like once they start driving, even at the age of 16, teach them to check their car, to always double check their car, especially when they're either working late or even during the daylight. Check the car. Like when they're walking into the driver's seat, I always check my back seat. And
It's too late to teach them how to properly handle a gun and how to properly use it
mhm,
and get a permit on it, get it legitimized. But it's never too late. And then like as they're driving, I believe they should keep guns in the door of the car
that's
just
what we
because.
keep ours.
Yeah, because like one time my mother was at a stoplight and somebody tried to jack her car.
You're right.
So that happens, and kids are more prone because kids are more oblivious and they're easier targets. So teach your kids the correct surroundings, how to protect themselves. Put get them in karate, taekwondo. Teach them how to use the guns. Teach them how to use pepper spray. Teach them how to use a taser. Teach them how to use the knife. Teach them how to cause injury to a perpetrator so they can be apprehended.
Teach them the proper way. Don't just teach them willy-nilly, and but just teach them properly. If they're taught properly, they know how to handle situations the right way, what's the wrong way, then they can keep themselves safe while still being independent. But it's okay, parents, to still be worried about your kids. My mom still worries about me to this day.
And kids
So,
phone and on their car.
yeah, but don't tell them you put a tracker, because that's the one thing that they're going to get rid of.
But they need a tracker on cars and phones.
So, and if you guys have T-Mobile, and I've stated this, if you guys have T-Mobile, if you go into the T-Mobile app, you could actually see who they talked to, what they sent, if it's a picture message, a text message, or a regular text message, I should say, or a picture message, if they talked on the phone, for how long, if they called out, if someone called in, even if they delete it on their actual phone themselves, it is still kept on your end.
And that
So,
could be a lifesaver.
so if you guys didn't know that, there you go. There's that.
All right, so I don't think we have any more things to discuss without rambling, but I want to say thank you all for listening to this podcast. Please do go back and watch our previous week's podcast because they were really, really good. And we'll be back here on Tuesday to listen to Arianne's story. So please show her some support. Give us likes, shares, comments, and if you can, please help us with our Anchor page by donating. Soon we'll create a patron page, and that will also help get our names out. But any support that you guys can give to us, we definitely appreciate. Thank you for listening. And for this podcast, Double A is signing out.
Night, guys.